Yo, what's up guys? It's Noah here, and in today's video, I'm going to be talking about some player props I like on Prizepicks for the NBA slate on Thursday, October the 27th. We've got a small slate tonight, only 4 games, so I'm just going to give out 2 picks in this video. Normally, I do want to give out more than 2 picks for my NBA videos, but it'll all depend on how many games there are, how many options there are available. We're just going to give out 2 picks in this one. I will have a few more plays I like. I'll share those over on Patreon. I don't want to give out everything for free because I do have a Patreon where I give out more plays over there. But hopefully you guys have been tailing the picks we've given out on YouTube lately. We've done really well. We've done really well on the YouTube picks. 3-0 yesterday, cashed all 3 of our plays. 2-0 on Tuesday, cashed both of our plays on Tuesday. So, but on a nice little 5-0 run the last 2 days with our NBA picks. If you guys enjoy these Prizepicks videos, as always, man, hit that like button down below. Appreciate all the support you guys give me. Hit that subscribe button if you have not yet. And if you have not signed up for Prizepicks, sign up for Prizepicks and use promo code NOAH. When you do sign up for Prizepicks with my promo code, you will get your first deposit matched up to $100. And again, if you guys want more Prizepicks plays from me, don't know how many more picks I'm going to be playing on this slate. Probably at least 2 or 3 I'll find that I like. I will share those additional plays over on Patreon. Check those out if you are interested. I give a full write-up for each play that I provide on Patreon. I also have DFS content that's available on Patreon, and I have a Discord chat you can join. All linked down below in the description. If you're interested in that, check it out, link down below. But let's talk through the 2 picks that I do like for this 4-game slate for Thursday, guys. And we're going to talk about 2 fantasy score props that I'm liking. So we're going to go to some of these late night games. We got 2 10 o'clock games tonight, and one of the fantasy score props that I'm liking is going to be Sabonis, 39.5 fantasy points. I'd like him to go over this. I'm going to be taking him to have more than 39.5 fantasy points. You look at Sabonis' game log so far this season in their first 3 games. First game of the season against Portland, he went under this line, 28.3 fantasy points. Last 2 games, 44 and 43 fantasy points. So for some reason, I don't know why, but Sabonis only played 22 minutes last game. That was really, really weird because it was a competitive game. It wasn't a blowout. It's like they just sat him for some reason. I'm not sure why. I think almost every night we can expect Sabonis to play like mid-30s minutes. Their first game of the season, he played 33 minutes. Their last game, or the game against the Clippers, he played 35. He still put up 43 fantasy points in 22 minutes, which is crazy. But I think most nights we can expect Sabonis to play like mid-30s minutes. This is a really good game environment between the Grizzlies and the Kings. Right now, this game has a massive total, 236.5 total and a 3.5 point spread. So Vegas is expecting a very high-scoring game. They're expecting a close game. And when you look at Sabonis' rates last season with the Kings, we can look at him last season and this season. Last season with the Kings, pretty solid usage rate for Sabonis. 3rd highest usage rate on the team, 24.6%. Averaged 1.26 fantasy points per minute. And per 36, he averaged 45.5 fantasy points. So on average, last season with the Kings, when Sabonis played 36 minutes, he would put up about 45 fantasy points. And I think if this game's close, we're getting close to 36 minutes from Sabonis, probably like 34, 35. So that's a plus to see, that per 36, he's averaging well over this fantasy score line. And then even looking at his numbers this season. So this season, obviously small sample size, only 3 games, but Sabonis is averaging 1.29 fantasy points per minute. So his per minute production's actually been up this year with the Kings. I know it's a small sample size, but still. And then, per 36, averaging 46.5 fantasy points. Still has a pretty solid usage rate, 21.6%, which is 4th highest on the team, behind De'Aaron Fox, behind Trey Lyles, and behind Malik Monk. But I think if Sabonis plays 35, 36 minutes here, which he should in a close game, he's going to average, well over a fantasy point per minute. It's a really good game environment. It should be a very fast-paced game. Should be a close game as well. I like this Sabonis fantasy score line. I definitely think it could be a little bit higher. So that's what I'm going to be taking as our first prop for today. Sabonis to have more than 39.5 of fantasy points. And then the next prop that I like to pair with that, again, talking about some of these late night games, I'm going to go to the Heat. We got the Heat playing the Warriors. This should be a really good game to watch. Bam Adebayo, his fantasy score line is set at 32.5. I also like the over on this one. I think Bam has a good chance to have more than 32.5 fantasy points tonight. And when you look at Bam's game log so far this season, they played 5 games the Heat have. Bam's only gone over this in 2 out of 5 games. So obviously, the hit rate is not the best. But let's take a look at Bam's rates last season and this season. So his rates have been way down this season. It's a small sample size, only 5 games. But so far this season, he's not even averaging a fantasy point per minute, which is crazy. He's only averaging 0.86 fantasy points per minute. And then per 36, he's averaging about 31 fantasy points per 36. Still does have a pretty solid usage rate, though. His usage rate is 22.4% this season. But looking at last season, Bam averaged well over a fantasy point per minute. 1.23 fantasy points per minute, 25.4% usage rate, which was the third highest on the team. Per 36, he averaged 44.1 fantasy points per 36. I think this is a little bit of an overreaction just to Bam's. I mean, obviously, Prizepicks is going to adjust the lines based on how players are playing. But I think this is a little bit of an overreaction just because, Bam, he's not really been playing that well this season. His fantasy per minute production's been down a little bit, but he's still playing huge minutes. I mean, in their close games, he's playing like 37, 36, 35 minutes, 34 minutes. Last night against Portland, he only played 28 minutes, but that game was a blowout. I don't think Bam played at all in the fourth quarter. He still put up 32 fantasy points in only 28 minutes. Tonight's game against the Warriors should be close. The Heat are on a back-to-back, which I guess is a mild concern. Anytime teams are on a back-to-back, there's always a chance that they just come out flat. But given that they blew out Portland last night and a lot of the starters didn't have to play their full minutes, I think the Heat should be good to go for this game, even on the back-to-back. The Warriors are favored by 6.5, but this game does also have a pretty big total, 227.5 total right now in this Miami Golden State game. So I think it's a good spot here for Miami. I think they should be able to put up points. The Warriors have been playing at a really fast pace this season. The Warriors are actually leading the league in pace, and the Heat, on the other hand, are 26th in pace. So this is a big time pace up spot for Miami. Going to be playing up in pace here. I think the matchup's also very good for Bam. Do want to mention that so far this season, I know it's a small sample size, but the Warriors are giving up the second most fantasy points to the center position, only behind the Thunder. Now, I'm pretty sure last season the Warriors were kind of like middle of the pack in terms of defense against centers, but so far this season they've been really giving to the center position. So I think it's a pretty good matchup for Bam. He's also had a lot of success against the Warriors. Their last 4 games against Golden State, Bam has put up 41.7, 43.5, 37.6, and 40.8 fantasy points. So he's got 40-plus fantasy points in 3 out of his last 4 games against Golden State. You look at that, you look at the matchup, how Bam has had success against this Golden State team. Plus, you look at kind of his fantasy score line being a little bit of an overreaction. I mean, if Bam plays 36 minutes tonight, which he should in a close game, I would expect him to average at least a fantasy point per minute. He's not going to continue to average 0.8 fantasy points per minute the rest of the season. Eventually, the production's going to start going up for Bam. He's going to get up to his normal averages. Normally, he averages about 1.1 to 1.2 fantasy points per minute. He's not going to average 0.8 fantasy points per minute the rest of the season. So I like this line at 32.5. I feel like this line could definitely be higher. I feel like it should be like 36, 37. 32.5 just definitely feels too low for Bam here. So these are going to be the 2 picks that I play for this Thursday night slate, guys. 4-game slate. Not a ton of options right now, but I'm definitely going to have a few more picks shared on Patreon. If you guys want to get some additional Prizepicks plays from me, if these YouTube picks have been helping you out and been winning you some money, and you want more Prizepicks plays from me, you can check out the Patreon. It's linked down below in the description. But yeah, guys, let's try and hit both these plays. Keep this good run going. Hopefully, make it a 7-0 run after today. But I wish you guys the best of luck tonight. Hit that like button if you do enjoy these Prizepicks videos. Hit that subscribe button if you have not yet. Also, check out Prizepicks and sign up for Prizepicks with promo code NOAH. When you guys do sign up for Prizepicks with my promo code, you will get your first deposit matched up to $100. But best of luck tonight, guys. Thanks as always for watching the videos, for supporting the channel. Appreciate you guys a ton. Best of luck, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace.